All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Hey, come on, give some response. Hungry, yeah. Okay, see, many of you left already to grab your Domino's pizza. So I have about 20 minutes, just a quick one for me to share with you how do you connect the collected data, okay? Just to continue what Xin has told you just now, right? My job is a data scientist, so there's always a way for you to track whatever you want to track. So I'll give you a simple example. Most of you who have used GetResponse or YAMM in Gmail, right? You're able to track who has opened your mail, who has responded your mail, how long people read on your pages. Those are from GA, you already know. The same problem that she mentioned, we did that for traditional media as well. You can use different QR code, you can have different line accounts to track that. So as a data scientist, we are able to track anything that we want to. Okay, so quick one. My background is chief data scientist, so I have a PhD in machine learning. So before things like big data, data science have become sexy to everybody, okay? So you hear this term a lot. Machine learning is the thing that is the predecessors of AI applications. Everybody talk about AI, but it's just a bunch of machine learning algorithms to put in action. So for example, you can teach a machine how to recognize voice, how to recognize faces, but it wouldn't be called an AI application if I put it into something. So I can use the facial recognition to put it here and then to recognize how many people are interested with my talks. Or if these two end up in a primary school or secondary teacher's hand, then they will use it to track attendance. Okay, so I train engineers and data scientists for corporations, Intel, OCBC, banks and stuff. State advisor for smart cities and BDA initiatives. So we do a lot of things with Selangor state government, and also I'm currently working with Johor state government to develop smart cities. Microsoft Excel world champion. I do a lot of data tasks way before. If some of you are around my age, you know Lotus 123, data, Excel and stuff like that. And HRDF certified trainer, MQA chairman. So what MQA does is I certify university courses for data science related subjects. And last one is founding director of Magic Academy. So we founded Magic Academy a few years ago, 2014, with Cher and other founding members. But I hardly speak on this stage. Yeah. Usually I get people to speak here for me. Okay, so a quick one, yeah. Most of you are interested in you're interested in marketing, obviously, and most of you are interested in content marketing, SEO, digital marketing kind of stuff. So from an analytics point of view, there are 4 stages of your marketing or your data collection stage. The first one is descriptive analytics. So GA, Google Analytics, Mixpanel, they are giving you this sort of information. How many people come to my website? Okay, how long they spend on my website? How many minutes they spend on my website before they left? How many they come in for less than 5 seconds and then they bounce, etc. Everything is trackable. But when you visualize it or you read them in the form of a report, that is just what we call descriptive analytics. Very basic stuff. Yeah, information in hindsight, basically. Then from there, you understand what happened already. Let's say you have a 3-month sales record, right? If you're from e-commerce, you collected those sort of information, you have the number of visitors, etc. Then you suddenly think of like, okay, now I know what happened already. I need to know why did it happen. Okay, so that's the diagnostic analytics part. Usually people don't do much on this stage because we are kind of lazy and a lot of things that you cannot figure out. So they go straight to the next stage is they're hoping to use machine learning algorithms. They're hoping to use some sort of sexy stuff, a shiny tool, and then to do predictive analytics. That's what most people are at currently. All right, and then you have a lot of people come and sell you different tools, different tracking tools. But a lot of time, you're actually doing things which is here, the high side, the descriptive analytics. No matter how strong is your tool, you're using Tableau, you're using MicroStrategy, Power BI, whatever. Yeah. For smaller companies, you'll be using some sort of visualization reporting tool as well. And those SAS service that you subscribe also will do that. Okay. So in order to get to predictive analytics, this is not your end game. Okay, and your end game is you want to automate your marketing, right? You want to automate your marketing efforts so that when something happens, an action will be triggered. Yeah, something specific will be triggered, and this is what you want. A lot of people in the marketing side, okay, especially digital marketing, they are not aware or they don't really call it artificial intelligence, but you are actually doing that. So if somebody come in, you follow a drip sequence, okay, 0 to 5 days, the first 5 days. If within the 5 days they open certain things or they read 50% of the emails, send them something else, right? This is a typical drip sequence. And then within the 5 to 10 days, you look at the retention rate, etc. And then when they hit something, then they take action. This is prescriptive analytics. So this is where AI comes in. How can we make it happen? Or worst case scenario, how can we make it not happen? All right. So this part, we use machine learning algorithms and machine learning techniques, and this part is AI application, the last one, which is your foresight. So once you are able to scale it up, let's say you fix your copy already, you'll find that, okay, this thing works, the content works, or I'm targeting the right audience. You can clone the same framework and same structure to another target audience, for example. Or you have tried it in the Malaysian market, you want to test it out with Thailand market, Indonesian market. You just have to change the copy a little bit, and then the entire system or workflow, you can clone it. Okay, so this is the analytics ascendancy model. Difficulties increase as you get more information here, but the value increase a lot more higher because this is where you can scale, right? These two things are the one that you can scale. So start collecting data today if you are not. All companies eventually will become a data company, no matter what, you like it or not. Right? You have a lot of WhatsApp messages that's going on. Corporations, so I work with QSR, KFC, Pizza Hut. Big companies like that, they tend to ignore what users are saying. Like, no matter how hard you complain on Facebook, they don't care. Right? Typical complaint on Kentucky, let's say, KFC, right? People will say, all right, the chicken very small. They complain. And then I know, we can know that which shop has the best chicken, they have the biggest in size, everything just by crawling their social media. Same thing for Pizza Hut also. I know that which area they have the slowest service. They take more than 1 hour just to deliver a pizza during peak hours. So all this information are available. They're lucky because there are not that many, not much competition around. But if you're in a very tough competition situation, right? Let's say e-commerce, you're selling SKUs that everybody is selling. You need to rely on a lot of scriptings, a lot of external tools to help you to monitor your competition. That's what we call competitive intelligence. Okay? So to make things easier, I got a 4-step framework for you, okay? It's a 4-steps data analytics model. It's very simple, but it's proven to work. Yeah. First one is to explore your data. You have to go out and explore the data. Number 2, after you have explored the data, you need to analyze the data. So remember the topic of my talk is start connecting the collected data. So I'm not going to focus too much on how are you going to collect data. You can talk to me afterwards. Any sort of data we can collect. Yeah, pixel, emails, any sort of tracking, monitoring we're able to do. After you have analyzed the data, this is the predictive analytics part that you want to do. You want to model your data. Yeah, okay. And then the last one is AI, artificial intelligence. Another thing that I like to do is to demystify things. So AI is nothing too fancy, nothing too magical. Yeah, a lot of people, they write a couple of if-else statements, if you understand what is that. Then they will tell you, oh, okay, I'm doing an AI application. No, actually, yeah, like you guys have been doing that, right? A lot of triggers, a lot of conditions-based statements, for example. So first thing first, explore your data. Exploring data is a method, right? We use a visualization tools. You just look at charts. You just look at statistical methods on your data set. So a good thing about exploring your data is that you have to help you to ask the right questions. Now, many people, they look at statistics, right? They don't ask questions. Like you all are very shy, sit there, statistically speaking, like typical Asian, Malaysian style, okay? Any questions? No, just sit there, all right? And then later go somewhere else to complain. That's a standard practice, okay? So exploring data is a way to help you to understand yourself a lot better. Look at it like a mirror. So ask the right question. If something happens, ask yourself, why this data behave this way? Am I collecting the wrong data? Okay. Am I using the wrong tools? Okay. Am I using the wrong method? Now, after that, you need to define the hypothesis and also your assumptions. A lot of things that we do, right? The most favorite sports that we like is jump into conclusions. We simply jump into conclusion. Okay, if let's say today, right, suddenly tomorrow you open your GA, your visitors drop by 20%. Oh, you say, oh shit, what happened? What have I done wrong? Is it something the server is not working? You start to have a lot of things and then you talk to yourself. That always happens. So don't do that. If anything happens as a behavior in the data, define your hypothesis and assumption. Look at it in the time frame. You look at it daily, you look at it weekly, on a macro scale or micro scale, and then define your success metrics. A lot of people, they do it in hindsight, like I said, right? Oh, after they have gained something, they have success already. They say, we are successful. So they look at it, they look at the track records, they look at the performance. But why don't you set a goal at the very beginning, right? Don't look at it just like a KPI, but it's something, a target needed for you to hit the target. Yeah. Whether you are a very small e-commerce owners or you are just an individual digital marketers or you are working with your clients, this is a very good practice to have. And at this stage, you only need 3 things. You don't have to do much. You just need the right questions, right hypothesis, assumptions, and also the success metrics. These are the 3 things that you need. After that, once you have done that already, you make sure that you got the first 3 things right. You go in to analyze the data. Now, when you analyze your data, you actually want to extrapolate and also find patterns like correlations. Now, humans are very good at identifying patterns. You look at a couple of people talking together, you know that there's something. And then you look at 2 guys talking to each other, you start to have assumptions, you start to think a lot inside your brain, right? So the key task in analyzing your data is validate if the data answers the business question. So those hypotheses, those assumptions, those metrics that you defined earlier, and then you use the analysis part to help you to validate. Okay? So this is a framework, it's a couple of steps for you to follow. So you do it right, you'll be fine. It doesn't matter what tools that you use. You don't need to have programming background, you don't need to use a specific tools or very fancy, expensive tools to help you to do that. Right, like what the previous panel has been telling you. There are many ways to do this stuff, as long as you take the necessary step. Now, understand the process and the data flow direction. So if your data flow towards the site that you want to, go ahead, all right, push it harder because the thing is working. So you want to add more effort to make sure that you are able to scale up your effort. But if the processes and also the data flow is going against you, then you have to look at the process. A lot of the companies, they don't look at process. They focus a lot on the tactic, yeah? Because that's also part of the problems. You read a lot of blog posts from HubSpot, StoreHub, all these, they write blog posts and then they tell you, all right, 10 guaranteed surefire way to get more subscribers, all right, 5 favorite ways to growth hack your Instagram followers, for example. That is, I wouldn't say it's bad, but sometimes things that work in US, it doesn't work here. Yeah, you have to do a lot of testing, trial and error. So you have to understand the process itself, and rather than just blindly following what they say. Right? The third one is be careful of aggregated data. Correlation does not equal causality. I say many times already, as I'm speaking, there are a lot of numbers that's happening here, right? But anything that is correlating, it does not mean that it's a cause and effect. So you have to be careful. Every time when you look at your data, there are definitely some numbers that goes up and then some numbers that goes down, right? So you have to make sure that you understand the correlation, but don't use it to define your cause and effect. Yeah. This one you have to be extra careful. The third thing is modeling. So you only do modeling when the first 2 things that you have done is correct. Yeah. You don't model dirty data, okay? You don't model the thing that's wrong because it'll make things worse. So correlating the data and building models that predicts the business outcomes. You are now using the data that you have collected, right, to help you to predict the future already. Predictive analytics is nothing but just help you to take a sneak peek into the future. So most of the time you want to predict the future values, like how many visitors you will get if you do something. All right, how many more conversion, how much increase in the conversion rate you are going to get. You want to measure your engagement rate, you want to measure your email open rate, you want to measure your impressions, the video clicks and stuff. This is what predictive analytics is going to do. So don't try fancy modeling algorithms unless traditional models work just fine, okay? You don't have to try the fancy one. You Google it, yeah? You have a lot of things like TensorFlow, etc. Don't go and try those things. It's a waste of your time because those are for specific use cases. And within your marketing domain, right, you have a lot of different models that people has already been trying that for many, many times. Even things like copywriting and stuff like that. You have, they are conventional wisdom for a reason, okay? They can become classic, not just because time, because they are tested for a long period of time already. Yeah, and identify your baseline benchmark. So every different things, right? They have a different benchmark. For example, you could, if you don't understand the benchmark, right? Today you look at your get response, you look at your MailChimp, and then your open rate, your email open rate would be 45%. You'll be like, yeah, okay, 10 people who reach that, 5.5 people doesn't want to open my mail. But for those of you who are in the email marketing, you know, 45% open rate is super high, super high, right? Okay, so you need to understand the baseline benchmark within your industry, at least within the things that you are doing. So for example, standard Facebook conversion rate or click-through rate, what is that? What is the baseline value for every pay-per-click with photos, with videos, with text, with different things? So after you experiment, you have to know that. And then identify your scopes and test cases. Now, modeling data is useless. They are just algorithms that data scientists write it to bluff you all, okay? Mathematicians, statisticians. But you have to tie it with some use cases or test cases so that you are able to test it. You don't just use that to model and then predict the value. I always use the same example. I'm able to predict, let's say if I'm able to predict, give you a crystal ball to predict, now it's, let's say, 3 o'clock, it's going to rain outside. Okay, I can accurately predict 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock is going to rain outside with a volume and also with a temperature of 28 degrees. Right? This is predicting, right? Yeah, nobody can predict better than that. But what are you going to do with that information? It doesn't help you, right? So you have to tie it with the test cases. So if you know that it's going to rain later, are you going to sell raincoats? Or are you going to sell more ice creams? Or are you going to take a Grab? Are you going to go in? Are you going to the car park to drive your car? Yeah, there's a lot of things that's going in your head now. So that's our test cases that you tie up with. Okay. So last one is the AI part. The key task in the AI is focus on boring tasks and processes, not fancy applications. A lot of people, when they look at AI, right, they're affected by the fact that you look at AI, they say, oh, AI can predict your emotions, so you're very happy. If you have a little bit of money, your company is slightly bigger, then your boss will say, hey, who and who, go and try this application. Yeah? Elon Musk is doing that. Neil Patel is doing this. Okay, all those fancy big shots, digital marketers, they are trying this. And why are you not doing that? Neil Patel is doing that, you're not following. Right? Your boss will ask you these sort of things. Because they are focusing on fancy applications. Yeah. And in engineering side also, they focus a lot on things like driverless cars, manless shop, that sort of stuff. It's fancy, it's done by Alibaba, those big shop companies, big boys. But as a small individuals, digital marketers, or somebody who are coming from a smaller agency, then that does not apply to you. But the value that AI is going to bring to you is actually for those boring tasks and applications. So if you can automate majority of those boring tasks and applications, right, you have more time to look at those other problems that are more mission critical. Right? This is what AI is for. Yeah. AI is not here to help you to, when we have driverless car, let's say, we have driverless car, right? What is driverless car going to help you? Yeah, except you don't have to drive, but what is the benefits, right? You always look at customer pain points, you always look at the benefit. So does it help you to reduce the accidents? Does it help to increase the safety level of commuting? So those are the things that you have to think. Yeah, not just think of the fancy application, but actionable items, okay? What are the things that you can take actions with that? So it helps you a lot when it comes to marketing side as well. You have a lot of ads ops, right? Advertisement operations, yeah. If they can help you to reduce those tasks, pick up the visual appealing images, for example, those can be quite some innovations as well, or automatically help you to gather interesting ads that has a lot of clicks and build up your own swipe file. That's another way of doing it. Or you collected 10,000 of swipe files and then you want to index them using keywords or metadata. That's another way of looking at it, right? And then when you want to browse through your own swipe file, you just have to type a few keywords. You'll pick up all the necessary and relevant images for you and then go to other websites like Envato Elements to help you to pick those, for example. Right? And then most important thing, review step 1 and step 4. Yeah, step 1 to step 4, you repeat the entire thing. Because like I say, it's a framework. So you don't just stop there. Yeah. It can be applied to a specific use cases. It can be applied to a specific data set, specific cohort, specific target audience. Okay? So that's about it. Usually I give talks, more technical type of talks, but due to the time constraint, I didn't do much technical demos today. But here are some of the tools that are available that you can use. Not only the tools are available free and open source, there are a lot of scripts and data set that's available out there that you can download and play with it. If you are rich, rich people read this part. You can buy Tableau, Excel, and SAS. There are a lot of public gallery that helps you to do visualization and also predictive analytics. But if you are like us, data scientists, starting out, we're just magic, man. We talk about startups. So RapidMinder, Weka, these are graphical user interface tools, and it has a lot of machine learning models that comes with it already. So you just have to put in your data set, look through a couple of tutorials, or you can go to my website. Otherwise, pick up Python or R. It's a scripting language that helps you to automate a lot of the boring tasks. There's even a book on Python itself, teach you how to automate boring tasks. And I think that's it. Yeah. So the last one, my takeaway for you today is the keys to a successful data analytics project, no matter what, right? Think big, okay? The impact of the project has to be big. Not to say that you have to think about, oh, this project needs to cost me like 200,000, 500,000, or X million, then only is considered a big project. No, it's the impact of the project has to be big, at least within yourself and your organization. And then start small and scale fast. In order to scale fast, you need tools, right? So those tools that are provided for you, those are the tools that help you to scale. But you have to start very small. You can't just take the entire HR department and start doing it. When I work with the corporate clients, we start with very small data sets, 500Ks, 500,000, 1 million records to start with. Those are considered entry levels. But if you don't have that sort of big data, that's okay. When you have smaller data set, then you can be a lot more focused. And yeah. If you want to download the sites, you can go to this website, and then, you can stay connected. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a line at social media. I'm quite responsive. Okay? Thank you very much. Thanks for the time.